Welcome, everyone. We're going to get started. You're tuning into another remote public scoping session for the Caesars Palace Times Square project. This is a continuation of last week's session. Thank you for joining. I'm Robert Williams, the Executive Director of the New York State Gaming Commission, and I'll be presiding over today's scoping session in accordance with the State Environmental Review Quality Act, which is commonly referred to as SEQRA. Today's date is May 28th, 2025, and the time is now approximately 5:02 p.m. Please note that this session is being recorded. For those of you who have logged into Zoom through a desktop and requested language access services, please click the interpretation button at the bottom of your Zoom screen and select the applicable language. For those of you accessing Zoom through a mobile device, tap the three dots in the lower right, select Interpretation, and select the applicable language. Please be certain to select the mute function audio button on your screen. Also, please note that interpretation is only available through computer audio or voice over internet protocol and not through dial-in or phone audio. Additionally, as you can see on the screen, American Sign Language interpretation will be continuous on the main Zoom screen. No one has requested language interpretation services for this scoping session. If comments are received, comments on the draft scope are received in languages other than English, they will be translated and considered. If you are on Zoom and experiencing audio issues at any time during the session, there are several numbers to dial. The first is 877-853-5247 or 888-788-0099 or 646-558-8656 or 253-215-8782. Please use session identification number 884-3313-1515 and passcode 1 to participate by phone. For other technical issues, please call 877-853-5247 and enter meeting identification number 883-5818-4705 and password 1 to receive help. If you have joined us by phone and you have difficulty, we advise that you hang up and redial and rejoin us again. On April 18th, 2025, the Commission assumed designation as the seeker lead agency for the Caesars Palace Times Square project application to construct a commercial casino and associated development at 1515 Broadway, New York, which is at Block 1016, Lot 36. It is bounded by West 44th and West 45th Street, 7th Avenue, and Schubert Alley. The project is contingent on the issuance of a commercial casino gaming license issued by the New York State Gaming Commission. The proposed action is discretionary, subject to environmental review under SEQR. The Commission determined the project to be a Type 1 action, and accordingly, Caesars Palace Times Square project prepared Part 1 of the full environmental assessment form. After reviewing and analyzing the Part 1 form, the Commission prepared Parts 2 and 3, and on May 2nd, found the proposed action has the potential to result in one or more significant adverse environmental impacts in one or more environmental areas, and determined that a draft environmental impact statement, or DEIS, was required and must be prepared. As required by SEQR, in consultation with the Commission, the Caesars Palace Times Square project's environmental consultants prepared a draft scope of work. The Commission circulated its positive declaration, notice of SEQR scoping session, and draft scope of work to involved and interested agencies, and published the notices in the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Environmental Notice Bulletin on May 7th, 2025. Accordingly, the Commission scheduled last week's SEQR scoping session which was supplemented by tonight, or will be supplemented by tonight's continuation to obtain public input for the final scope of the draft environmental impact statement. Together, we are here to receive comments on the draft scope of work for the Caesars Palace Times Square project. The draft scope of work identifies all subjects which will be analyzed in the draft environmental impact statement and explains how those subjects will be studied. The draft scope is available at the website that is shown on the screen. As I mentioned, the purpose of today's scoping session is to allow for public participation in the preparation of the DEIS at the earliest possible stage in the environmental review process. Specifically, scoping allows the public to shape the DEIS before it is written. To that end, the Commission will have the opportunity today to receive comments on the draft scope from elected officials, government agencies, community board representatives, and members of the public. We also welcome written comments on the draft scope of work. Those comments can be submitted through 5 p.m. on June 13th, 2025 via email or by mailing the comments to the address listed on the screen. As a point of notice, I would like to remind everybody that there is another opportunity to provide comment. Once the Commission accepts a draft environmental impact statement as complete and adequate for public review, the Commission will offer the document for public comment on both its scope and content. This is triggered by the Commission preparing and filing a notice of completion consistent with the requirements of Title VI of the official compilation of codes, rules, and regulations of the state of New York, section 617.12, to announce that it has accepted the draft environmental impact statement and opened the public review and comment period. While a notice of completion of a draft environmental impact statement is required to be published in the State Environmental Notice Bulletin, we want to ensure that all interested parties are timely notified of the availability of the draft EIS. So we will post notices on both the Gaming Commission and the Gaming Facility Location Board's websites, as well as making it known through social media. We will, of course, place review copies of any accepted draft environmental impact statement in accessible public venues such as a local library and municipal offices. And we'll work with local elected officials and representative community boards to identify appropriate placement locations. Presuming schedules hold, I expect that the draft environmental impact statements will be available towards the end of July. Given that news can sometimes be missed during the summer months, to facilitate notice, anyone interested in receiving an email announcing a draft environmental impact statement's availability may have their name added to an email mailing list by sending their name, email address, and the identification of the project they are interested in to Kristen Buckley at kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. That's KRISTEN.BUCKLEY@gaming.ny.gov. At the end of the scope and comment period, the Commission, in its lead role, is to review all comments, those we heard last week, those received today, and all written comments received. After carefully reviewing all comments, the Commission will decide what changes, if any, need to be made to the draft scope of work, and the Commission will then issue a final scope of work. It is the final scope of work that will serve as the basis for preparing the draft environmental impact statement. The draft environmental impact statement will be prepared in accordance with the final scoping document and will contain detailed information regarding the proposed action, potential environmental impacts, and appropriate measures to avoid, minimize, and/or mitigate any significant impacts encountered, as well as a description of reasonable alternatives and a no-action alternative. The draft environmental impact statement will be made available for public comment and review following its consideration by the Commission as lead agency. And once accepted, as I mentioned, we will solicit comments on that draft document. Today's session is divided into 3 parts. During the first part, we will receive a brief overview describing the Caesars Palace Times Square project, followed by a summary of the draft scope of work. During the second part, we will receive comments on the draft scope from government elected officials and government agencies. The third and final part of the session will be the receipt of comments from community board chairs and district managers, interested organizations, and members of the public. Tonight's session will end only after everyone who has signed up to provide testimony has had an opportunity to be heard. To reiterate, tonight's session will not be a question and answer session, but is intended to allow the public the opportunity to provide meaningful input regarding the scope of the draft environmental impact statement. No decisions on the draft scope of work will be made tonight. On to a few logistics for tonight's scoping session. For those of you who have pre-registered an interest in providing comment, we will call you in the order received. For those who joined tonight without pre-registration, if you're on a telephone, you may dial *9 to indicate your desire to provide oral testimony. If on video, you may indicate your desire to provide oral testimony by using the raise hand indicator. Participants using the raise hand function or dialing *9 will be added to the end of the pre-registered speaker list in the order in which they raise their hand or press *9. The option to sign up to speak tonight will end at 7 p.m. If you're reading prepared comments, it would be helpful if you email a copy of your comments to the Commission at kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. When it is your turn to speak, your name will be called and you will be granted temporary speaking privileges by the session administrator, which will allow you to temporarily unmute your microphone. Please note that promoting speakers can sometimes take time, so we do appreciate your patience. Again, once your name has been called, unmute your microphone or telephone and start your remarks. To allow us to hear from everyone who wishes to speak, we ask that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes. You will note a 3-minute countdown clock will run on the screen. You'll be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when time is expired. Lines will be muted for speakers who go past 3 minutes. If you join by telephone only, we will announce when the 3 minutes has passed. For those participants utilizing interpretation services, 5 minutes of speaking time will be allotted. If you wish only to provide written testimony, again, you may submit them to the Commission either by emailing or mailing to the addresses that were shown on the slide and are on the slide right now. Those comments must be submitted no later than 5 p.m. on June 13th, 2025. Joining us next is Garrett Armwood, Vice President for Government Affairs at SL Green, presenting on behalf of the applicant team for the Caesars Palace Times Square project. I would like Mr. Armwood to begin the session by providing a short project presentation on behalf of the applicant, after which Lynn Doe, a Senior Vice President of AKRF, the environmental consultant firm preparing the seeker EIS, will discuss the draft scope of work and the analysis framework for the environmental review. Mr. Armwood?
Good evening. My name is Garrett Armwood, Vice President of Government Affairs at SL Green Realty Corp. And I'm proud to present this proposal on behalf of 3 best-in-class organizations that have a long history of investing in New York City: SL Green, Caesars Entertainment, and Roc Nation. As we did with One Vanderbilt, we always make the utmost effort to meet with all stakeholders and embrace a true public-private partnership model. Therefore, in response to community input, we suggested and the Commission agreed to extend the comment period by a week, allowing for today's session. It is our goal to make sure everyone's voice will be heard. Next. Times Square is the most recognizable entertainment center in the world. Its bright lights, bustle, and energy make this the logical location for a gaming facility. And we have designed a proposal that is perfectly in character with the neighborhood and will generate enormous benefits to its neighbors without displacing any residents or potential future housing development. This location also enables us to deliver the most sustainable possible project. Next. Most gaming facilities are designed to keep people inside, with dozens of restaurants, theaters, spas, and retail. But all of that entertainment already exists in Times Square. So Caesars Palace Times Square will take the opposite approach. Instead of building big, we're reusing an existing outmoded office building, creating a hotel and gaming facility within a 1960s era's building's existing footprint. As a result, we will generate demand for more hotel rooms, meals, and entertainment than we can capture, creating a halo effect that will drive new business to the existing network of hotels, theaters, restaurants, and bars that surround the project. That's why so many businesses in and around Times Square support our project. Most importantly, our development exists in one of the most transit-rich locations in all of New York City, served by nearly every major subway line and commuter hub. As we'll discuss today and in our studies, this location will uniquely welcome almost all of its visitors by public transportation or by simply walking. Next. 1515 Broadway is an existing mixed-use building within the heart of Times Square's bow tie. Its current program and use entails 1.6 million square feet of commercial office space, 22,000 square feet of retail space, 20,000 square feet of media and broadcast studios, 72,000 square feet of parking, which we will eliminate, and a Broadway theater. Next. Our proposal converts 1515 Broadway into a world-class hotel and entertainment destination while adaptively reusing the existing structure. This is adaptive reuse at its finest, a low carbon footprint with faster delivery and fewer disruptions during construction. Critically, and as mentioned earlier, the project offers substantially fewer interior entertainment options than is typically found in the Las Vegas gaming model, meaning guests will naturally seek dining experiences and entertainment outside of the building, benefiting our neighbors and hundreds of local businesses. Next. When you look at the current and planned uses side by side, at first glance, it's hard to tell them apart. We will do some remassing in the podium to accommodate the gaming floors and our dining and entertainment offerings. Beyond that, we are simply reusing and revitalizing the existing building, the most sustainable approach to development. Next. Caesars Palace Times Square is a responsible, contextual, sustainable, and community-forward proposal delivered by a partnership that understand what makes New York special. SL Green, as the city's largest commercial landlord, brings deep experience in complex, transformative projects and nearly 30 years of commitment to work alongside our neighbors to make New York City a better place. Caesars is the nation's leading gaming company, offering a global track record in hospitality and entertainment, and an unparalleled commitment to responsible gaming. And Roc Nation is the world's preeminent entertainment company, born and based here in New York and committed to the future of this city in everything it does. Together, this team is committed to a New York first, neighborhood forward, sustainable approach. In addition to our programming for inside of 1515 Broadway, we've spent the last 4 years meeting with our neighbors to ensure that our programming outside of the building meets the existing needs of the community with significant investments in security, sanitation, beautification, social services, and the arts. Through this approach, we have earned the support of over 200 businesses and organizations in this community to ensure that our project will uplift the entire neighborhood. With that, I will turn it over to Lynn Dove, KRF, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Garrett. Hello, my name is Lynn Doe, a Senior Vice President at AKRF. We are the environmental consulting firm that will be preparing the EIS for this project. As Garrett noted, the proposed gaming program will predominantly occupy the existing footprint and massing. Sorry. The environmental review. The environmental review will focus on the difference between the existing commercial, theater, and retail uses compared to the proposed gaming and hotel facility, which would introduce a new land use to the building should we receive a gaming license. As such, the seeker analysis program will comprise a reasonable worst-case development scenario that focuses on the incremental difference between the no action, which assumes the continuation of the approximately 2 million square foot building as a commercial office tower with local retail, a theater, studio, and parking garage, against the with action that includes the gaming and entertainment space, approximately 1,100 room hotel, nominal on-site parking, and the provision of off-site parking. Even though this is an adaptive reuse project with only an incremental increase of approximately 100,000 square feet, it is the activities generated by the new land use that will be the focus of the EIS. I would like to note that to provide program flexibility, the reasonable worst-case development program assumes a slightly larger hotel and theater use than Garrett presented earlier. From a seeker analysis perspective, it is more conservative to account for potentially denser activity. The analysis year for this project is 2031. It's when the full program is anticipated to be in full operation. The seeker approach will apply the methodologies and thresholds as outlined in the 2021 Secret Technical Manual. The thresholds. The Secret Technical Manual provides methodologies for conducting analyses for a wide range of technical areas, and while it was created by New York City, is relied upon by many state agencies as guidance because it is considered to provide the most appropriate direction for evaluating in-city projects. The Secret Technical Manual looks at 19 technical areas, as shown on the slide, and our secret document will assess the project's effects on these areas either through screenings or detailed analyses. Additionally, where the analysis discloses the potential for significant adverse impacts, the EIS will also discuss potential mitigation measures and alternatives to the project that would avoid or minimize those impacts to the extent practicable. For this adaptive reuse project, we anticipate the need to focus on two key technical areas that I would like to highlight today, that of transportation and construction. Should any assessment disclose the potential for significant adverse impacts, we would identify potential mitigation and project alternatives. This slide shows the proposed site access and circulation at the project site. It would utilize the site's 3 frontages with hotel drop-off area, proposed on West 45th Street, parking entry on eastbound West 44th Street, and an exit on westbound 45th Street. Based on the reasonable worst-case development scenario, we developed preliminary detailed trip assignments. Following standard New York City Department of Transportation methodology, we have identified in the draft scope of work the need to perform detailed analyses for 18 intersections, as shown on the dots on the left side. That includes also the proposed off-site parking facility to the north, and 32 pedestrian elements as shown on the right side. This is reasonable since the project is essentially a building retrofit and not a new building or collection of new buildings. In anticipation of community concerns related to the disruption in the area due to construction, our EIS will assess the construction schedule and logistics, its on-site activities, and the project's effects on transportation, noise, and vibrations. With this, I end my presentation on the draft scope of work and look forward to hearing your comments. Back to you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Lynn. As a reminder, the purpose of today's session is to accept comments on the draft scope of work. Once again, comments can be submitted in multiple fashions: at today's hearing, in spoken testimony, and by electronic mail and traditional mail directed to the commission. Both of our email addresses and mailing addresses will be up and listed on the slides throughout the evening. Again, comments will be received through 5 p.m. on June 13th, 2025. Before we start with part two, I want to mention that elected officials and government agencies are not limited to 3 minutes. First up are elected officials and government agency representatives. Once again, when it's your turn to speak, your name will be called. We will grant you temporary microphone access and you will be prompted to unmute, and we will be able to hear your comment. If anyone experiences technical difficulties during their testimony, we will pause and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting to occur in the background. We will come back and call your name at a later time. We will now move on to the government elected officials and government agencies. Brad, do we have any?
Yes, we do. As a matter of fact, good evening. I'd first like to call on Assemblyman Henry Tavares.
No, this is no, it's not Assemblyman. It's business representative for local 137. My apologies.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Yes, I am. My name is Henry
Before we
Tavares.
go through, Brad, are there any other elected officials? As obviously,
course.
Mr. Tavares is a member of the general public or an interested party.
We have a Mr. Jeffrey Dubner from the Community Board. Mr. Dubner, are you there?
Unmute. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I like the idea of the casino because Times Square, where I have lived for the last 20 years, on 47th Street and a block away from the heart of Times Square, it is the epicenter of entertainment. So I don't know why we can't capitalize on that and increase the entertainment value of Times Square. People come from all over the world to participate. And I've gone to different, and many high echelon people, doctors, lawyers, accountants, people of very high progress and accomplishment have also attended casinos. I mean, it's not a sin activity as it maybe was in the past where unreputable people had been involved. So, people can, I think one of the most anti-casino voices I've heard is that it encourages compulsivity in gambling, compulsive gambling. But listen, an addictive personality's behavior includes drugs, alcohol, shopaholics, food addicts, criminals, sexaholics. All of those factors don't comprise the bulk of the people who go into a casino. And as was mentioned before, there's many resources that accompany it. Also, the casino, as it is now, I've been here for 20 years, so I know we're not 100% pristine here. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of because it is the epicenter of many people. A lot of the it encourages certain things. But gambling and a casino, I think, will give the city money to alleviate and improve many of the problems we have, like the refuse, and things like that. So I'm very interested. I enjoy the casino. It's not for everybody because it requires some resources, some financial resources. Not everybody has it, but I'm sure they could participate. They could go in and out. It's a free country. So I'm very happy to see that. I think it will help the city, and the tax involved, the tax coming in will be very, very necessary and helpful, because right now we have a lot of problems for people coming in from other countries, and they're indigent, a lot of indigent people that need resources and need us to help them. So I think the city could well benefit from that. I'll cede my time at this point to other people because I know everybody has some good ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dubner. Now we'll call on Henry Tavares, please.
Hello?
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Hi, how are you? Good evening. My name is Henry Tavares. I'm the business representative for Local 137, Smart Sheet Metal Workers. I am for the project. I'm for the licensing of the gaming licensing in Times Square, the Caesars Palace project, due to the fact that it's going to bring more union jobs. It'll help fund apprenticeship programs, and it'll hopefully will inquire more members to work in the facility in regards to the project. The other thing is, I've seen past couple of years, Times Square, in my opinion, is not as safe as it was before. Currently, I worked there for 13 years as a sign hanger. We would change the billboards and the LEDs. And in the past 6-7 years, it's gone from all right to unsafe around the nighttime. I think if this casino gets built, it's going to bring more people, more protection, and I mean, it's going to populate the area instead of it being unpopulated and dangerous. The other thing we've been speaking with, met with the team behind the Caesars Palace Times Square project for over 4 years, and they understand the importance of labor and the construction trades. They have a history of working with labor, and I have confidence that they will be using building trades workers and union labor to get this job done. I also see more jobs coming after the project gets built, from parking attendants to casinos, casino workers, to maintenance, to cleaning. I overall think it's a great thing. It'll bring hundreds of jobs more to Times Square. And they have earned my support, and I'm 100% for the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tavares. I'd like to call on Mr. Williams to add some context to this presentation.
Thanks, Brad. We don't have any more elected or registered elected officials or government agency representatives, so we're going to move on to part 3 of the scoping session, where community board representatives, interested organizations, and members of the public are invited to speak. I think we kind of started a little towards down that path already. As previously mentioned, when it is your turn to speak, your name will be called and you'll be granted temporary microphone access. I remind everyone that there's a 3-minute countdown clock that's going to run on the screen, and you'll be advised when 10 seconds are remaining and when time expires. If you're experiencing technical issues during your testimony, we'll pause you and move on to the next speaker to allow for troubleshooting and return to you. Brad, will you call the next speaker?
Mr. Jeff Bellotti. Jeff Bellotti.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, I wholeheartedly agree with Mr. Dubner and Mr. Tavares. I am the general manager. I used to be a general manager. I'm the president and CEO of Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, and we're the world's largest hotel franchisor. We have 38 hotels under 25 brands in and around the great city of New York and the state of New York. We're very important partners with Caesars. Everything Mr. Dubner and Mr. Tavares said, we echo, and we are in support of this project. Obviously, being in the heart of Times Square, we believe that this is the only location, having looked at them all, been approached by other partners, where a casino will blend seamlessly into, as Mr. Dubner put it and Tavares put it, into the identity and the character of a neighborhood that really needs an upgrade. And unlike other proposals, we would say, and we believe sincerely, that this is not going to displace any critical housing opportunities that we believe our city would be jammed with within existing and vibrant residential communities, as some of the other proposals have proposed. The team behind Caesars Palace is serious. We just brought the world's largest gathering of hoteliers out to Caesars Forum last week, and they are the preeminent operators. This is a team that has spent the last 4 years within this community. We believe, in a nutshell, that it will drive new tourism, new economic activity to a much needed area of the city, that this team will invest in the local community and the economy. We see it in Vegas all the time, that will improve the quality of life through as Mr. Dubner said, we need more sanitation, more beautification programs for this area, more performing arts, more workforce development, and more retraining. And most importantly, and I'll close on this, we believe that it is the most comprehensive private safety and security investment in the history of Times Square. I've been operating in the city, first with Sheridan and then with Starwood and now with Wyndham for years. This is the time that it needs it. And because of this unique approach, we believe that Caesars Palace Times Square has the support of over 200 local businesses and community groups, and they have certainly earned Wyndham Hotels and Resorts support. And I thank you, Mr. Williams, and the team for the time today to speak.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Leah Oken. Leah Oken.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Leah Oken. I am the business representative for the Theatrical Wardrobe Union, which is Local 764 of the IATSE. We represent wardrobe workers, costume shop workers, and child actor guardians in live events, as well as motion picture and television. And we represent a large number of people that work on Broadway. You're going to hear a lot of reasons why this is a great idea and why this is not a great idea to have the casino in Times Square. I want to say that we are very excited for this investment in the city, that we are excited to work with our partners wherever these casinos end up, but we do feel that Times Square is the wrong location. You're going to hear a lot of broad concerns about that. You're going to hear things about the environment, the construction, the traffic. All of those things are legitimate concerns. My primary concern is that there are folks already working in this building, and that any sort of construction is going to take away these jobs for a long period of time. And I don't hear anybody talking about what happens to those people. These are people who have worked consistently at this production for almost 20 years, some of them longer than that. And to put them out of work for an extended period of time after they've been through the pandemic, they've been through the recovery, they have helped Broadway come back and thrive, to put them out of work doesn't feel appropriate to me. They're full-time jobs. These aren't people who work show to show. These are people who have been there a long time, and there isn't just another show for them to hop to in a moment's notice. So we hope that you'll consider the impact not only to the community, not only in terms of noise or other issues that may come up, but we hope that you'll consider the impact to all of the employees currently working in that building, and really the cost that could mount to them as individual people. As I said, we look forward to working with any partners that are granted these licenses, but we do hope that they will be elsewhere in the city and not in Times Square. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Dale Aline. Dale Aline. I may have mispronounced that, but Dale Aline.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, and my name is Dale Aline, and I am the business manager for Local Union 262 Plasterers. And I am here to support the Caesars Palace Times Square project. Of all the potential sites for gaming license, this is the only project where labor stands to gain new good-paying union jobs that won't exist without the license. At the end of the day, there are other sites, but they will be built regardless, and with or without a gaming license. By saying yes to Caesars Palace Times Square project, the city will gain more union jobs than it had the day before, and it will have in the future without it. That's a win for the working men and women of this city. We have met with the team behind Caesars Palace Times Square for over 4 years, and they understand the importance of labor and the construction trades. They have a history of working with labor, and they are using this project to create a win for all New Yorkers. And for these reasons, they have earned my support and my membership. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Loretta Glover, please. Loretta Glover?
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, yes, my name is Loretta Glover. I am a resident of Project Fine Woodstock, which is on 43rd Street between 6th and Broadway. And our concern and my concern is that we're going to, this gaming, this casino is gonna bring so much more traffic, foot traffic, and transportation traffic. We've already got a full plate, okay? It's very hard sometimes during the holidays to come outside my door without fighting through crowds, okay? And I'm sure every resident that's on this call will tell you the same thing. Having the casino will, you know, because people come to casinos in busloads sometimes. Where are these buses gonna go? You know, is enough buses on our block, parked on our block, for the venues that are already existing. So if the casino, we're gonna get even more, you know, traffic and limousines and big buses. And we can't get, that means that it would hinder emergency vehicles from getting through. Before congestion pricing, we had a hard time of the fire department getting down the block, and the fire company on 43rd Street could hardly get through the block because of the traffic. And this is gonna, that could save somebody's life or kill them if they're delayed. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is Michael Tendina. Michael Tendina? Mr. Tendina? Okay, we'll move on, and then if he registers again or raises his hand again, we can come back. Michael Wexelblatt? Michael Wexelblatt?
Yes, this is Michael Wexelblatt and not Michael Pendita. How are you?
Good. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Williams of the Gaming Condition for allowing me to speak today and the opportunity. My name is Michael Wexelblatt, but most refer to me as Mike Wex, or this crowd, if they want to say that guy from the Stagehands Union, you can just call me Wex. I'm the president of Local 1, IATSE, that's the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. I represent over 4,000 professional sound and audio technicians, lighting technicians, props people, special effects people, props people, audiovisual personnel, and lighting directors throughout Long Island, Westchester, Putnam counties, and of course, New York City. This in arenas like Madison Square Garden or the Metropolitan Opera or Radio City Music Hall and all the major television networks. I'm not going to speak on the added congestion, community disruptions, noise pollution, and air quality and public health pollution such a project will have on the live theater community and economy, but I just did. But I am here to speak about the very important geographic and historical location of the proposed Caesars Casino that would occupy 1515 Broadway in Times Square, also known as the Theater District, or as you called it earlier, the Bow Tie. Local One has been supportive of all the proposed casino license candidates. Believe me, anything that's going to contain a theater or entertainment, we're right behind you. But the exception is this one particular one. And all have been very businesslike and professional and giving us presentations in person. And I will add that, ironically, all of these projects, including this Times Square Caesars, may actually bring additional work and jobs to my membership. You saw during the presentation there may be I don't know, it fluctuated from 1,600 seats to a 1,700 seat theater. I'm not sure which slide was correct. But Caesars did not make the presentation to us in the summer of 2022. Rather, it was by the real estate company SL Green. Now, whether we were talking to the Sands Corporation out on Long Island at Hempstead, okay, or we were talking to the Parks Casino further downtown, they came in and they made their presentation. In this case, it was the real estate company SL Green, which is obviously the owner of the building. Office space, as we know, is not what it was prior to the pandemic, and that building is empty, save for Paramount and a CBS studio that we broadcast from. And of course, Disney's Lion King, which is one of the highest raising shows on Broadway. So I am sensitive to the needs of the realtors facing the reality of empty, non-revenue properties.
10
But just
seconds.
living in a casino is a quick fix, is not the solution. So we are not in support of this project.
Thank you. Let's circle back, Mr. Tendina, Michael Tendina. Okay, we'll move on to Rena Saltzman. Rena Saltzman.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay,
Can you hear?
go ahead, ma'am.
Great. Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Rena Saltzman. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the Association of Theatrical Press Agents and Managers, IATSE Local 18032. I represent 542 active members. We are the press agents, company managers, and theater managers who work on all the Broadway shows. As we know, Broadway is back to its pre-pandemic audiences. And because of the hard work of all of our members, we have been able to create this level of success while keeping our patrons satisfied, safe, and as well as our workers safe. It is our firm belief that bringing a casino into this area will not only threaten our recovery, but also the jobs that our members rely on for their livelihood. As somebody who spent the bulk of my career working in Times Square, including a number of years on 44th Street, I do have many concerns about the construction of a casino in this particular area. I am very concerned about the crowds, the noise, and the construction. As the manager of a show that performed across the street from a large construction site, I can tell you that not only was noise a concern, and we dealt with that daily, but more than once the jackhammering almost forced us to cancel a show in mid-performance. The shaking from across the street was so intense that it caused our lighting instruments hanging over the heads of actors and the crews to move with such force that we were rightly concerned about their safety. To try and coordinate any kind of construction schedule around the multiple show schedules is a nightmare, and particularly with the number of shows performing and rehearsing on 44th and 45th Street, it will be logistically impossible to maintain over a 4.5-year period. There are other sites that have been proposed that will bring jobs to the city. We're not opposed to those in other places, but Times Square is not the place for this venue. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Chris Kohler. Chris Kohler.
Good evening. My name is Chris Kohler. and I'm the political director of the Mason Tenders District Council of Greater New York and Long Island, comprised of 15,000 members in 6 local unions of the Laborers International Union of North America. These locals represent women and men working as building construction laborers, mason tenders, demolition workers, and asbestos and hazardous material abatement laborers. 80% of our members live in the 5 boroughs. We like to say we build New York City from the ground up because in fact we do. Tonight, I'm speaking in support of Caesars Palace Times Square. Of all the potential sites for gaming licenses, this is the project that makes the most sense. A casino belongs in an entertainment district, and Times Square is one of the best known in the world. Already a magnet for visitors, Caesars Palace Times Square would enhance the area as a must-see attraction. Local businesses will benefit from additional foot traffic. This project does not take away land that could be developed as much needed affordable housing. It is simply a big conversion project. No ULURP or alienation of land to slow project completion for years. It is the only proposed site that is as of right, meaning work starts sooner and New York City starts collecting tax revenue faster. Tourism drives Times Square. The same tourists who flock to Broadway will enjoy a casino experience before or after a show. Caesars has a first in the industry responsible gaming approach. No gaming will be located on the ground floor. The casino is designed to be a destination, not an impulse. As a preeminent casino operator, Caesars is committed to using union labor for the construction and operation of this property, which is of great significance to the members I represent. Union members earn family-sustaining wages with health insurance and retirement security. We are the middle class so many strive to enter. Local 79, who will work on this project should the license be approved, is among the most diverse and progressive labor unions in New York City. Our members would be proud to work on creating a world-class gaming facility in a world-renowned entertainment district, doing so on time and on budget. It is a match made in heaven. Times Square, Caesars, and New York's unionized building trades, and a win-win for New York City residents, businesses, and the tourists who visit. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Robert Taberzi. Robert Taberzi.
Hello. My name is Robert Taberzi, and I am a representative of LIUNA Local 79, which represents construction and general building laborers throughout New York City. I am speaking in support of the Caesar Palace Times Square proposal because I believe this proposal will be a great addition to the center of our city and our main entertainment district. I recently lived in Hell's Kitchen and currently work near Penn Station. I have always appreciated having all the Times Square offers within walking distance, and I believe the Coalition for a Better Times Square is committed to positively impacting the surrounding neighborhood and the entire city. Additionally, this is a project where labor stands to gain new, good paying union jobs that won't exist without the license. By saying yes to Caesar Palace Times Square, the city will gain more union jobs than it had the day before or will have in the future without it. That's a win for the working men and women of this city. I've met with the team behind the Caesar Palace Times Square for over 4 years, and they understand the importance of labor and the construction trades. They have a history of working with labor, and they're using this project to create a win for all New Yorkers. And they have earned my support. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Terrence Weeks. Terrence Weeks.
Good evening, this is Terrence Weeks.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, hello everybody, good evening. So my name is Terrence Weeks. I'm a local 3 IBEW union member, and I wanted to voice my support for the project. To echo what some people have said previously, I know a lot of good paying union jobs will come from this project, be it during construction and then hopefully afterward. And in a city like New York, a good paying union job is the kind of jobs we want to bring into the city to make sure that the residents of New York can survive and live and thrive in this great city. So I support it for that reason as a union member and worker. Additionally, I was born and raised in New York. I've worked in and around the Times Square area for the last 15 years. And with Times Square being the entertainment capital of the world, I see no reason why New York City wouldn't have a casino in the heart of the entertainment capital of the world. So between the jobs, potential jobs that it will bring during construction, during operation, and just New York City as a general entertainment mecca, I feel like this is the kind of project that Times Square should embrace and support and get behind, because the positives will definitely outweigh any potential negatives in the short term or long term. So I support this project wholeheartedly, and I hope it gets the approval it needs to go forward. And thank you.
Thank you. Adam Levy, Adam Levy.
Yes, hello. Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Adam Levy. I am a business representative for United Scenic Artists, Local USA 829 of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees. We're a union of over 5,000 designers, artists, and craftspeople who work on Broadway. I'm here today to voice our strong opposition to the proposed casino in the Times Square Theater District. Our members are the workers behind the curtain, the designers, artists, assistants, and craftspeople who bring the magic of live performance to life and who ensure that our city's greatest economic asset remains vibrant, innovative, and accessible. Successful stories on Broadway are told through the creativity, skill, and hard work of thousands of union workers across our community, including our membership. We've heard some say that this casino is needed to help Broadway recover, but that's simply not true, and we've proven that. Broadway is on the rise. We are seeing a continuous increase in the return of audiences to our theaters and to Times Square. This recovery is driven by the talent, passion, and dedication of union workers on Broadway. Bringing a casino into the Times Square Theater District would jeopardize the district's hard-fought recovery, a recovery that is not only vital to the livelihoods of thousands of hardworking theater professionals, but to the economic health and vibrancy of our entire city. A casino belongs somewhere it won't threaten existing, good-paying union jobs or undermine a community that is already thriving. This proposal puts too much at risk, and we can't afford to gamble with our future. Times Square and Broadway are built on creativity, collaboration, and years of investment. A casino here would put all of that at risk. Local USA 829 opposes this proposal for the Times Square Casino in order to protect union jobs and the entire theater community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, Chris Bosick. Chris Bosick. Okay, we'll move on and come back if we need to. David Stewart. David Stewart.
Yes, hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. My name is David Stewart. I'm the president of the West 45th and 46th Street Block Association in Hell's Kitchen. I wanted to thank you for organizing this meeting and allowing me to speak tonight. As a resident deeply invested in the future of Hell's Kitchen and the safety and livelihood of those who live and work here, I began thoroughly researching the various casino bids, particularly the SL Green and Rock Nation proposals, as they are in our neighborhood. As part of my research, I met with representatives from SL Green and Rock Nation to learn more and understand their proposal from multiple perspectives. In those conversations, we discussed the urgency of approaching our community with honesty, integrity, and transparency. I was personally assured by Brett Hirschenfeld from RL Green and Jay-Z himself in a meeting at the Rock Nation offices that they would always be transparent, legitimately cared about our community, and would operate with open dialogue. But as always, actions speak louder than words. In the intervening months, I've witnessed a pattern that has made me question their word, a pattern that directly impacts the integrity of this draft scope of work. On multiple occasions, this team engaged in questionable petitioning tactics, including giving offers of free food to passersby, often not residents and often tourists, in exchange for signing petitions in favor of the casino, with an intimidating presence of numerous representatives and security personnel at these neighborhood events. Most critically, I've been approached by multiple residents from our community who have shared truly troubling information. They were told to submit bids on what it would take for them to support SL Green and Rock Nation proposal. This directly relates to specific community leaders who have now publicly supported this bid, who have reportedly been receiving substantial undisclosed payments from developers, sums as high as $20,000 or more per month. This discovery fundamentally contradicts every assurance of transparency and genuine community partnership we were given. It casts a serious shadow of doubt over their true intentions and raises the question: if their initial engagement with our community relies on covert financial influence rather than authentic dialogue, how can we possibly trust any future promises they make regarding mitigation, support, or operating with integrity, especially those laid out and assessed within this draft scope of work? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Julia Campanelli? Julia Campanelli?
Hello, I'm Julia Campanelli, president of Hell's Kitchen Block Association. I would like to refer to the Caesar's Palace Times Square draft scope of work for the environmental impact statement of May 2nd. There was a graphic, figure number 4, of the existing land use and the 1/4 mile perimeter from the project site. And it's color coded to show the different structures and what they're used for. What's not included in this map is the 8 houses of worship, the 6 medical offices, including physical therapy, the 6 daycare centers for preschoolers, and the 6 schools, including public, high school, and graduate school. Extreme noise exposure, such as long-term construction project, is a significant threat to public health. The effects can cause hearing loss, cardiovascular disease, sleep disturbance, increased stress and anxiety, mental health, reduced productivity, and affect the health of fetal development. The American Speech, Language, and Hearing Association has determined that after 15 minutes of continuous noise at 100 decibels, permanent hearing loss occurs. After 2 minutes of 110 decibels, hearing loss occurs, and after only 30 seconds of continuous noise at 115 decibels, hearing loss occurs. A jackhammer is 130 decibels, a pneumatic drill is 120 decibels, and a tractor or truck is 100 decibels. Our community feels that this project should not go forward because of the negative impact not only on the health, safety, and well-being of its residents and workers in the community, but in also the negative impact on our theater district and its hotels and restaurants. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Mandy Applebaum. Mandy Applebaum.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Maddie Applebaum, and I'm speaking on behalf of the 17,000 member strong New York City District Council of Carpenters. And I'd like to express our support of this project. This project would be done with 100% union labor, and it would bring an incredible amount of family sustained jobs to Manhattan. And our members are excited to get to work if this project is approved. We've appreciated the way that the developer has engaged with us over this years-long process, and we feel confident that they understand the benefit both to workers and to the success of the project in using union construction to make this happen. So for those reasons, we support the project and we encourage it to move forward. Thank you.
Apologies for mispronouncing your first name, Maddie. Mark Jennings. Mark Jennings.
I am here. All right, good evening. My name is Mark Jennings, and I represent Project Find, a 50-year-old social service organization that provides affordable housing and services to low and moderate income and unhoused older adults, including the 290 residents at the Woodstock Hotel just steps from the proposed Times Square Casino. I'm on the side of no deal, no dice, no casino in Times Square. The voices against the casino may seem small today, but they're growing and they are mighty. This is a David and Goliath battle. We don't have billions in corporate backing or flashy ad campaigns. We don't have Beyonce's husband to woo the masses, but we have something more powerful, lived experience, community, and a vision for a city that works for everyone. Let me first say SL Green, Roc Nation, and Caesars are doing what companies do, seeking profit. A casino will likely help them achieve that. And yes, the city may receive additional tax revenue as an ancillary benefit. But let's be honest, who else truly benefits? What this proposal will actually bring is more congestion, more crime, and more harm to vulnerable New Yorkers. It will exacerbate mental health struggles, fuel gambling addiction, and place an additional burden on residents already navigating the dense chaos of Times Square. History matters. Las Vegas was built for casinos. Atlantic City was not. It was a family community long before gambling. And when casinos arrived, they promised a new era of revitalization. That promise was broken. In 2023, Atlantic City had a crime rate of 87 per 1,000 residents, making it one of the most dangerous cities in the country. Casinos didn't fix its problems, they deepened them. We risk repeating the same mistake in Times Square. And what about our seniors, which is our mission? At the Woodstock Hotel, our average resident is 70 years old. They already struggle to cross crowded streets and to get groceries and medical care. A casino won't help them, it will hurt them. We're told that there will be a halo effect, but the data tells a different story. Casinos disproportionately impact low-income communities, older adults, and people living with addiction. Right now, Times Square is thriving, crime is low, Broadway is back, tourism is up. Why gamble with that? Times Square is a rare civic treasure, New York's version of Disneyland for adults and kids alike, a place for culture, for families, for opportunity. Let's protect it, not sell it off to the highest bidder. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Martha Smith. Martha Smith.
Hello, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Martha Smith, and I'm the Secretary Treasurer of Local 764 of the IATSC. We are the wardrobe workers. We work on Broadway. Of the 2,000 members that make up Local 764, 87% live in the 5 boroughs. So you see, we care about New York City because we are New York City. And let me be clear, we are not opposed to a casino for all the reasons people mentioned, but we are opposed to the location. When we talk about, I think it was number 17, neighborhood character, my members question how this project at this location fits into the deep ecosystem that is the theater district. The theater district is already a destination. We think a different location will add all the benefits mentioned, like the jobs for our union kin, but let Times Square keep its special identity intact. My members wish to continue to be a part of a unique New York, so we oppose this location of the casino as proposed. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Grunert. Michael Grunert.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Michael Grunner, and I'm a member of local union number 3, and I'm here in support of Caesars Palace Times Square. Of all potential sites for gaming licenses, this is the only gaming project where labor stands to gain new good-paying union jobs that won't exist without the license. By saying yes, this city instantly gains more union jobs now and for the future, which is not only a win for the working men and women of the middle class of our great city, but a win for our city's overall economy. And after meeting with the Caesars Palace Times Square team for the past 4 years, and reviewing their history with how they interact with labor and their workers, They totally have mine and my union support. And out of all proposed sites, this is the only site that requires a gaming license to be redeveloped immediately and using union jobs. Every other job site is an empty parcel of land, which hopefully will be built union, but will eventually be built on no matter what, and could be built for things like low-income housing or other needs that our city has. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Piccirillo. Michael Piccirillo.
Hello? Hello,
Yes,
can you
sir,
hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can
Go
you hear
ahead.
me? My name is Michael Piccirillo, Director of Area Standards for the New York City District Council of Carpenters. I'm here to voice strong support for the SL Green and Caesars Hotel and Casino project in Times Square. This is the kind of development New York needs when it creates good paying union construction jobs and delivers long lasting value to the community. It will bring permanent jobs, increased tax revenue, and new investments to local businesses, all while being built by skilled tradespeople who take pride in doing things right. SL Green and Caesars are committed to union labor, safety, and high standards. On behalf of the Carpenters Union, I'm proud to support this project. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Adam Harkin. Adam Harkin.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adam Harkin. I'm the Vice President of the New York City District Council of Carpenters. I'm here tonight to voice my full support for the SL Green and Caesars Hotel and Casino project in Times Square. This isn't just about development. It's about doing things the right way with union labor that's trained, tested, and trusted. We've built this city with our own hands, job by job, floor by floor. We don't ask for favors. We ask for a fair shot to do what we do best. And this project gives us that shot. When a project of this size and visibility commits to union labor, it sets a standard. It says loud and clear, quality matters, safety matters, workers matter. That's what this job represents, a chance to put skilled tradespeople to work on something lasting, something we can all be proud of. This is the kind of job that doesn't just create work, it creates dignity, and that's something we can't put a price on. SL Green and Caesars have made it clear that they want this done right, and that means bringing in the union trades that build New York into what it is today. Let's move this project forward and show the world when it's built union, it's built to last. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Una Adams. Una Adams.
Good evening. This is not Una Adams. It's David Caravalloso.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Well, my name is David Caravalloso, President of the New York City District Council of Carpenters. I'm here to voice strong support for SL Green and the Caesars Hotel and Casino project in Times Square. This is not just jobs. This is kids going to college. This is families paying for groceries. This is people buying homes. This is about people's futures. Good paying union jobs for people who live and work in New York City. SL Green and Caesars have shown they understand the value of that. They're not looking to cut corners. They're not looking to underpay people. They're looking to make sure that men and women of New York City can take care of themselves, their families. Again, this project means solid union jobs. It means a good investment in the neighborhood. And the Carpenters Union is ready to get to work. We support this project 100%, and we're proud to stand with SL Green behind it.
Okay, our next speaker is Una Adams. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
My name is Una Adams, and I'm the Director of Organizing for Laborers Local 79, and I am happy to be here to speak in support of the Caesars Palace Times Square. We've heard about multiple sites for casinos, but there's only one that really makes real sense to us. Times Square is the entertainment capital of New York City, and adding a casino will bring people into the area while also adding much needed security for a neighborhood which could use it. Our city desperately needs more housing, and many of the other sites are sites which really make sense for building affordable housing. Instead, this proposal cites a casino in a non-residential area where it isn't going to be displacing much needing housing sites. It's a commercial venture which just makes sense. We have worked with the team behind this project for years and feel very comfortable in their understanding of labor and the construction trades, and also comfortable in their commitment to ensuring a good communication and respect for the community they're building in. We have great faith in them as partners who will ensure that the kind of union family supporting jobs will be created, which our city needs. By saying yes to Caesars Palace Times Square, the city is going to gain absolutely necessary union jobs to support the families who live here. This project is an obvious win for working people, and I am proud to voice our support for this project on behalf of the 10,000 members of Laborers Local 79. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker is Sally Greenspan. Sally Greenspan.
Yes, hello. Thank you for this opportunity. I am the former president of the Council of Chelsea Block Associations, and our sitting president has a conflict, so I'm speaking tonight for the Council of Chelsea Block Associations, which covers 79 blocks in the Chelsea community in New York. We are in opposition to this location for a casino. New York is the greatest city, and Broadway theater is at its heart. The Times Square Theater District is comprised of theaters, thriving restaurants, and other businesses that consistently deliver jobs and sustained economic activity for the community. We believe a casino would diminish that thriving community. New Yorkers and people from all over the country and all over the world come to see the lights of Times Square, be part of a theater audience, and join a standing ovation at the end of performance. Restaurants and other businesses consistently deliver jobs and economic activity. The pedestrian traffic throughout the theater district is a testament to its powerful draw, but the traffic is also at its peak. A casino will create more pedestrian and vehicle congestion, potentially invite crime and other unintended consequences. The Times Square area is no place for a casino. Times Square, as it exists today, is a main attraction of New York. Let's keep it that way by supporting and promoting what it is, and do it no harm by imposing something so unnecessary, so unwanted, and with so much potential downside. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Our next speaker is Sherry White. Sherry White.
Hi, this is Sherry White. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Sherry White, and I'm here in support of Caesars Palace Times Square on behalf of One Times Square, which is the home of the New Year's Eve ball. We've been a member of the Times Square community for nearly 30 years, and we've partnered with the city and state and the Times Square Alliance on the production of New Year's Eve each year. We are completing a $550 million investment in the neighborhood to transform One Times Square into a year-round destination for immersive entertainment and celebrations. It's opening most of the interior of the building to the public for the first time later this year. Having been a part of the evolution of the neighborhood these past few decades, we believe Times Square needs to continue to build on and amplify its longstanding strengths, from Broadway to the digital billboards to New Year's Eve, while also adding new and varied experiences that elevate and enhance its position as a global entertainment district. Later this year, New York State will have an opportunity to do just that when they decide on the best location for a casino in New York. To us, the answer is the Caesars Palace in Times Square. Times Square is the entertainment district of New York City and frankly, the world, and one of the world's most popular and iconic tourist destinations. Maintaining that status requires continuous evolution, innovation, and the creation of much more multifaceted, dimensional, and unique to place experiences, such as those that will be brought here by Caesars Palace Times Square. We cannot afford creative stagnation. Caesars Palace Times Square should be part of the neighborhood's next chapter. It will help secure its place as a global entertainment district for the next generation and blend seamlessly into the established identity and character of the neighborhood. The Caesars Palace Times Square team has spent 4 years engaging with the community, incorporating feedback into a proposal that will boost tourism, support local businesses, invest in community programs, beautification, sanitation, and other safety and security. Their efforts have earned support from over 200 local businesses and community groups, including ours. We urge you to select Caesars Palace Times Square for New York's casino designation. Thank you very much for your consideration.
Our next speaker is Sean Glennon. Sean Glennon.
Yes, hello. Hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing? I just want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak as a proud member of local union number 3, electricians of New York City. I want to start by saying that, this makes sense, just makes sense. Caesars Casino in Times Square, Times Square is the center of it all, the theater, the restaurants, the nightlife, the nearby transportation hubs, the Penn Station, Grand Central, and a new port authority to be built pretty soon. There's plenty of room for improvement in the current Times Square, that's for sure. And this project, with the security and the enhancements to the project, would be a great asset to the future of Times Square. Best part is that the commitment from SL Green to make sure it's done with union labor, and everyone should support the fact that union labor will do this job safely and on time. And again, let me just close by saying that this project in Times Square just makes sense. Thank you.
Hello, this is Sonia Osorio with Women's Justice Now. I just want to make sure that you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead, ma'am.
Great, thank you. So Women's Justice Now works for women's rights, but we're also a community member. We share offices with the National Organization for Women of New York City and with the Coalition Against Trafficking for Women in Chelsea. In a city that has once again experienced a surge in street prostitution, social service providers like our organizations and community members are deeply concerned about the prospect of bringing casinos to New York City, none more so than in Times Square. It is well documented that casinos are a magnet for prostitution and sex trafficking, and the collateral crime that comes with this ugly business. This from Security Magazine, Management Magazine, casinos and co-located lodging facilities, coupled with the transient nature of sex trafficking, provide convenience and cover for sex traffickers. Normal casino hotel activity with hundreds of patrons arriving and leaving to the facility on a 24/7 basis conceals the traffickers' activity, and the environment provides a potential customer base for this illegal business. And that is obvious to so many New Yorkers, especially those who have a memory of what Times Square looked like in the 70s through the 90s. In a recent poll of Midtown voters, 2/3 said they were very concerned a Times Square casino would bring sex trafficking to the area. As a most recent example, a China-linked prostitution business was indicted for operating out of the MGM Grand Detroit. They confiscated and seized 22 cell phones and cash in multiple currencies. As it stands, and what many people do not understand is, as it stands, selling sex, buying sex, and promoting sex is de facto criminalized in New York. And there is a bill to make sure that it is no longer de facto, that it is decriminalized. Under those circumstances, what this means for Times Square with a casino there are very, very concerning. We have deep concerns that a casino in Times Square would lead to once again becoming a crime-ridden area where the sex trade operates and where some of our most marginalized people are exploited, used and exploited for sex. Times Square is the last place that is a good location for a casino. We can't even imagine a worse one. So thank you so very much for your time.
Dennis Popovich. Dennis Popovich. All right, we'll go on to the next speaker. Hamza Nagy. Hamza Nagy. Okay, we'll move on. Brett Thomason. Brett Thomason.
Hello, thank you. My name is Brett Thomason. I'm the political director at Steamfitters Local 638. We represent 9,000 workers in the 5 boroughs and Nassau and Suffolk County. And our members build the heating, cooling, and pipe systems in the large buildings across New York City. And we want to speak tonight in strong support for this project. We are in support of any project like the one proposed that will use union labor to create more jobs in the unionized construction industry. Right now in New York City and New York State, we have a jobs crisis where members like ours who make a good middle-class wage with benefits, healthcare for themselves and their entire family are being put out of work, denied jobs, while a non-unionized construction industry just pervades the region. So an opportunity like this is incredibly important for our members. It puts them to work in jobs that will sustain their careers, that will add to their pensions, will add to their benefits, will let them retire with dignity and self-respect. So and on top of that, I think there have been comments about like what this will do to the community, but our members live and work in these communities. They want to see jobs, and they want to do it to the highest standard possible in terms of safety for themselves and for the surrounding community. And they want to create a middle-class life for folks that live and work in this neighborhood. So that's our reason for supporting this project. And thank you for giving me the time to speak.
We'll circle back and try Dennis Popovich again. Dennis? Okay, we'll move on. Peggy Sheretz. Peggy Sheretz.
Yes, I've lived in Manhattan Plaza for 33 years. A casino in New York City will hurt local business, increase traffic, cause addiction, bankruptcy, and crime. Casinos make money because rapid bet slot machines, the source of roughly 75% of casino revenues, are highly addictive. Addicts provide roughly half of slot machine revenues. You do not help the needy by supporting an activity that deliberately exploits vulnerable people and adds them and their loved ones to the members of the needy. I believe that now, when a greedy 1% have robbed the middle and lower classes of their chance to live a decent life, is not the time to tempt our community into risking what little they have left to call their own. Only the rich will benefit from this casino. The poor people stand to lose everything.
Thank you. David Reef. David Reef is next.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm a lifelong resident of Manhattan. I do not have a dog in this fight, like many of the people that have spoken. And with all due respect to the union representatives, of which there are many, of course, we would like to see union jobs and jobs created everywhere around the city as much as possible. I'd like to echo something that David Stewart spoke about a little bit earlier. This is a high stakes game, and there's a lot of public relations agencies and a lot of politicking that's going on. And this is not my first scoping that I've listened to. Having listened to one about a week or so ago for the Soloviev site, it was very clear to me, listening to people that spoke, that all sorts of promises were made to people of grants, funding, jobs, etc. And I just ask that the Gaming Commission take that into consideration. If you're going to be making committees and community committees to do this, that it really be something that's unbiased and that is really looking out for the public interest. I was interested in what Sonia Osorio was saying before. I was born in Jackson Heights. I've passed through Jackson Heights last year, and I was shocked to see the amount of prostitution and people hanging out on the streets. We all know that there are many immigrants that are here that are struggling to get by. They're now in the process of being threatened with deportation, and desperate people, unfortunately, do desperate things. And I think that if this comes to anywhere in New York City or in Manhattan, that it is going to attract trafficking and just more prostitution and so forth. In my neighborhood, there are marijuana shops popping up left and right, and it's hard to walk down the street without having marijuana puffed in your face. So I love this city, I love this country, and I'm really upset that we're trying to solve all of our problems through all these various vices, the marijuana, the gambling, and maybe next it'll be the prostitution. I don't know. So anyway, I thank you for your time. I yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Mr. Stephen Belida. Stephen Belida.
Speaking, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Stephen Belida. I rep co-chair the HK 49-54 Block Alliance. What I'm hearing is this is not about union jobs and how it helps all these individual people. I'm looking at the topic here. It's Caesars Palace Times Square Environmental Review. I don't understand why we're talking about, oh, this gives more union jobs and all that. That has nothing to do with it. It's how it's going to affect that area. The only people I've seen speak to that are David Stewart, Julia Campbell, and Mark Jennings about how it will affect people with pollution. We passed a law for congestion pricing just in this area, not uptown, not way downtown, not in Queens, not in other boroughs. We have congestion pricing because of the pollution. The amount of trucks that these union people are going to bring in to do this work is alarming. It's 6 years of construction work with these trucks coming in. And then there's parking in this casino, and they say, oh, it's everyone's just going to take the subway, they'll walk to it. No, they're not. They've already said they have they've set up for having outside parking areas. People are going to come from New Jersey because it's closer. They're going to come up from upstate New York. They're going to drive in and they're going to find places to park. This green company, they state that they have all this pull-up parking areas, pull-up drop-off areas. So we're going to create more pollution that's going to affect the neighborhood. And it's going to affect it's going to affect all these pedestrians, all these people that are here, causing more congestion, causing a bigger problem. The number of delivery trucks that are going to come in. And you only have 200 local businesses that support you. Do you know how many local businesses are in that area? Do we hear from them? There's so many against this. It's a bad idea. It's bad for pollution. We didn't pass congestion pricing to have this area polluted once again. Again, I thank you for your time.
Next speaker is John Jovich. John Jovich.
Yes. Hi, my name is John Jovic, and I'm the business manager of Heat and Frost Insulators Local 12. I am here in support of the Caesars Palace Times Square project. By saying yes to Caesars Palace Times Square, it will create good paying union jobs for the men and women of my local. I have met with the Caesars team, and they understand the importance of union labor, and they have a long history of working with labor. This is a plus for my members and also a huge economic boost for the area. SL Green is taking an existing outdated building and turning it into something really special. This will be a huge boost for the area and creating many jobs for the people of New York City. They have earned my support. And thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Lorenzo Curtis. Lorenzo Curtis.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
How you doing? My name is Lorenzo Curtis. I'm a proud Local 3 union member, IBEW, and I say yes to the Caesar Palace Times Square. It will create a lot of union jobs for the working men and women of the city. It will also help to create and provide a new stream of tax revenues, which will help to fund local projects. It also will bring, along with the union jobs, it brings more employment opportunities. It'll boost the economic growth of the area by allowing that number that was given by the New York City mayor's office of last year, 2024. We had 65 million tourists come in and visit our city. We are a melting pot of entertainment and culture. And by adding the Caesars Palace Times Square to that, it just heightens our ability to attract more people to our city. And again, like I said, I am a proud Local 3 union member, and I am for the creation of jobs for union members. And getting this license will allow that to happen, so that I stand and say yes with Caesar Palace.
Our next speaker is Mark Klein. Mark Klein.
Yeah, hi, how are you? I'm speaking on behalf as a Brooklyn member from the public. And I passed this many times, and I got to say that this is a very bad idea. This would actually go back to the way the city was back in the 80s and 90s, when it was full of adult-oriented and graffiti all over the place. And while I support the casinos coming to New York, I don't support the Times Square. It's already crowded. They're already closing off a lot of traffic streets to make it more pedestrian. And there's already a lot of homeless people and crime here. And I'm pretty sure that if there's a casino, it'll just, the homeless people will just hang out into casino. And I go to Atlantic City a lot, and I see the problem there too, where it's not safe to walk. The areas over there are bad at night, and it's not safe to walk there either. And it's just, people can go there, and if they want to go New York, there's upstate, and we already have a couple of casinos already here in Queens that they can just easily convert over into illegal resorts and empires, both in Yonkers and Queens respectively, that they can use. It's the same reason why Coney Island was turned down, because Coney Island is also crime-ridden and filled with a lot. So I don't think while I do support the project, I don't think Times Square is actually the right place, because they did back in the day, they did try to make Times Square more family friendly, which they did, and made it more Disney-fied. And I'm afraid that that's going to take away from what it'll bring it back to the olden times. And I'm in a union. I'm in 2 unions. I support this project, but in a different location, just because there's just already too much congestion in the city. There's also crime. I think the other unions are right. It's right by Broadway in the entertainment. Movie shoots come here, Broadway, tourists. And if it's a family place, it should be kept family. And, it's the same reason why Hard Rock was built here without a casino and things like that. It just raises way too many questions. How they enforce it, how they're going to keep the crime out, how they're going to keep the homeless not going in there, how they're going to keep it from teenagers going in there unsupervised, how they're going to keep, there's so many, it raises so many questions. And this is more of an environmental thing. And a lot of people are right. It's probably going to give us backwards when we've worked so hard to make Times Square family entertainment, as opposed to bringing casino in and making it worse, because there's no way to enforce where, high schools will go in there after school, going in there at all hours of the night without supervision, maybe causing problems. And right, with all these people who are desperate, with all these people desperate, I'm for the project, but not in this location. And I yield my time back, and I thank you.
Mr. Thomas Waters. Thomas Waters. Thomas? Okay, we'll move on. Anthony Hammond?
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Hammond. I'm a resident of the Woodstock, a senior living, independent living residence. And the tenants, I believe earlier, Mark Jennings, the executive director of our project, Project Fine, spoke very eloquently about how we are opposed to the proposal of having a casino in Times Square. Traffic, security, sanitation, noise make it absolutely inconceivable to have more traffic, more density in this area where we live. And we are totally against the proposal. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Chris Cook. Chris Cook.
Hello.
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. I apologize. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Chris Cook. I'm one of the business representatives for Local 12 Heat and Frost Insulators. I'm calling in support of this project, and I'm calling in support of the project in Times Square. As a former resident of Manhattan and someone that is in the city every day, it is very apparent to me that this portion of the city just has not recovered from the pandemic. I have the privilege of walking through Times Square pretty much every single day. There is not a day where I don't step over a homeless person with a needle in their arm. There's rarely a point where I'm not seeing some type of police activity for some type of crime. The commitment from SL Green to increase security, excuse me, and sanitation in the area is vitally needed. There are a few portions of the city that have not recovered from the pandemic, like Times Square has, and it is imperative to put some type of project there. So again, on behalf of my members and all the other building trades affiliates, I'm in support of this project. Thank you.
Christine Datz Romero. Christine Datz Romero.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Christina Datz Romero. I'm the Executive Director of the Lower East Side Ecology Center. And as an environmental organization, we have worked in the Hell's Kitchen area to bring sustainability and street tree care to this community. And I'm speaking in favor of Caesar Palace because we feel that using an existing building and doing adaptive reuse certainly has less environmental impacts than building something new. I think we all know that New York City will receive a casino, and we should try to keep the impacts on it as low as possible. At least that's would be my argument for supporting that. Also, other sites for casinos would be in conflict with possible open space that communities are also desperately needing. I also want to mention that I feel that the team behind the casino is really interested in enhancing and doing instituting measures to really make the neighborhood more sustainable, especially in terms of planting trees and caring for them for the long-term health of everybody in that community. Thank you.
Mr. Williams, that's our last registered speaker at this point.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Anyone following along that wishes to speak, you have another 12 minutes to register. We're going to take a break until 7 o'clock and come back and see if anyone is registered. If they have, we'll allow them to speak. We'll also give an opportunity for any of the individuals that Brad called and did not participate, an opportunity to return and to raise their hand as well. So at this point, we will take an approximate 12-minute break and return at 7 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, we're a little bit earlier to 7 o'clock, but Mr. Manny tells me that we have at least one registrant at this point. Brad, why don't you call that individual, and then we'll survey again and see if anyone else registers by our closing time of registration, which is 7. Mr. Manny?
That would be Dennis Popovich. Dennis Popovich.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Denis Popovich. I'm a regional manager with the New York City District Council of Carpenters. I am here to support SL Green and Caesars Hotel and Casino project in Times Square. This job means real work for union tradespeople, work done safely, professionally, at the highest standards, just for the Times Square deserves. But it's not just about the job. This project will breathe new life into Times Square, boosting local businesses, bringing tourism, and generating tax revenue to benefit the whole city. SL Green and Caesars have shown their respect to the trades. They know union labor's mean quality, and they have committed to do this right way. This is the kind of development New York City, especially Times Square, needs. Times Square deserves the best, and they will get the best, backed by the community impact and ready to move us forward with this project. That's what Times Square deserves, best of the best. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to 7 o'clock. Brad, are there anyone else who's registered?
No, not at this point.
Well, we can skip one last second here. Again, if you're on the telephone, you can raise your hand, if you will, by pressing *9. If you're on the Zoom platform, you can toggle the raise hand indicator at the bottom of the screen, and we can call on you. Let's give approximately a half minute here to see whether anybody will do that. If not, we'll come back on the record in about 30 seconds. Brad, has anybody indicated an interest in providing comment?
We have no one has signified so.
Okay. Given that there are no remaining speakers and we've passed the end time of our scheduled time of 7 o'clock, the public comment portion of tonight's continued session is now concluded. As a final note or penultimate note, if anyone has had difficulties providing comment today, we encourage you to submit written comments by using one of the methods listed on this slide. Comments can be submitted by email to Kristen Buckley at gaming.ny.gov or by mail at the address that is listed there as well. Our email address, as I said, you can see on the slide there. Comments must be received before 5 o'clock p.m. on June 13th. Before we conclude, I want to again remind everyone that there is another important opportunity to provide comment. Once the Commission accepts a draft environmental impact statement is complete and adequate for public review, the Commission will offer the document for public comment on both its scope and content. This is triggered by the Commission's preparing and filing of a notice of completion consistent with NYCRR Title VI, Section 617.12. We would utilize that and announce that we've accepted the draft environmental impact statement and open the public review and comment period for that document. When a notice of completion of the draft environmental impact statement, just as an FYI, it's required to be published in the State Environmental Notice Bulletin. But we want to make certain that everyone who's interested is timely notified of the availability of the draft EIS. So we're going to post notices on both the Gaming Commission and the Gaming Facility Location Board's websites, as well as making it known through social media. We will, of course, place review copies of any accepted draft environmental impact statement in accessible public venues, such as a local library or municipal offices. And we plan on working with local elected officials and representative community boards to identify appropriate placement locations. As I mentioned earlier, presuming anticipated schedules hold, we expect a draft environmental impact statement to be available towards the end of July. Given that news can sometimes be missed during the summer months, to facilitate notice, anyone interested in receiving an email announcing a draft environmental impact statement's availability can have their name added to our mailing list by sending their name, email address, and the identification of the project they're interested in to kristen.buckley@gaming.ny.gov. The time is 7:04, and the Caesars Palace Times Square project public scoping session has now concluded. I thank you all for joining us here tonight.